Hi, friends. My name is Lance Hurst, and I am the new pastor of the Glenwood table. We've seen quite a bit of change over the last few years at the Glenwood table, so I wanted to just take a moment and introduce myself, give you a sense of who I am, who we are, what we're about, and what we are doing at the Glenwood table. So first of all, in this video, what I really want to address is why we even call it the table in the first place. So I didn't name it the table. I actually inherited this ministry from others who have gone before me and who have set a great foundation. But I wanted to just reflect a moment on that concept of the table. So whether or not we really think about it, tables are important pieces of furniture in our world. At least in the world that I live in, I'm constantly sitting at a table, whether it's a table that I eat at, a table that I gather with friends at, or I know in the Christian tradition, we often talk about the table of God. And so what does a table do for us? Well, first, it's important, I think, for us to recognize that tables are places that we gather. It's a place for community, a place for sharing. Tables are where we connect. And in the Christian tradition, when we talk about the table, we usually are talking about that place up front in the church. It's usually the centerpiece of the church in many churches. And it's a place where we celebrate what many Christians would call communion, also known in some churches as the Eucharist or the Lord's Supper, where we take the bread and the wine or the bread and the juice. But at Glenwood Table, we recognize that this has been complicated within the Christian tradition. That even though the table is meant to be a place of gathering, within Christianity, this Christian table has not always been a welcoming place. In fact, we might even say that it's been a place of exclusion, a place of abuse. I've heard many people tell stories specifically about going up to the table of God to celebrate the Eucharist or communion and being rejected. Or before even trying to celebrate, being told, you don't belong here. This isn't for you. So at the Glenwood table, we want to be honest about this. We want to be honest about the fact that there is surely good within the Christian tradition, but there's also bad and ugly. There's pain and heartbreak. And so we recognize that this table has been used in a lot of ways that it was never intended to be used. What we see in Jesus of Nazareth was that he was setting a table for people that religion and politics had excluded. Jesus was setting a table for people that were told that they didn't matter, that their voices didn't matter, that their concerns didn't matter. Jesus was in a relationship with a God who is love, a God who actually cared about people who were outcast. And so here at Glenwood Table, what we're trying to do is get back in touch with that table that Jesus was building. We are trying to build a table together where the only rule is love. So whether you've been burned by religion or whether you feel full of faith, we want you to know that you are invited to this table of love. You are invited to join us and feast upon a grace that actually empowers us to build a better world, not just for Christians, but for all people. So join us at the table.